Well, in a few moments I hope to be talking to the victor.
1 is Ballymiles, ridden by Sean Tracy. 2, Book of Kells, Blinkered, ridden by Ron Barry. 3, Brave Fellow, Tony Charlton. 4, Classified, Steve Smith-Eccles. 6, Cruise Missile, Bob Davis. 7, $50 More, Richard Lindley. 8, Golden Vow, Mark Floyd. 9, Pay Freeze, written by Steve Knight. 10, Pay Related, John Joe O'Neill. 11, Prominent Artist, Joe Byrne. 12, Run with Pride, Niall Madden. 14, Sailor's Return, Peter Scudamore. 15, Sea Image, John Frankham. 16, Skellum, Jerry Newman. 17, Slaney, who's Blinkered, written by Mike Williams. 18, Spinning Saint, written by Norman Babbage, Mr. Norman Babbage. 19, Solimnos, Hugh Davis. 20, The Brockshee, Tommy Carberry. And 22, Water Rock, written by Richard Hall.
So the Irish have set off with one winner, and will they win this? They've got a couple of good representatives, and there, in fact, we see one of them. This is Prominent Artist number 11, trained by Jeremy Maxwell in the north of Ireland, and what a super recruit to chasing he is. Jeremy, who hates flying, refuses to fly, went to point in Southern Ireland yesterday and came over by ferry and then drove up. Absolutely refuses to fly. Well, he'll be flying after this one goes in because he's a very decent horse. I saw John Joe O'Neill school this one the first time he ever jumped a steeplechase at his training establishment in Northern Ireland, and he was a natural right from the word go. Joe Byrne, Jeremy's jockey, rides him here today, and he's unlucky not to be unbeaten over fences from 5 runs. He's 5-1 favourite at the moment. Sea Image is 6s. Run with Pride, the other Irish runner, is 7-1 and 8-1 bar. But there's Prominent Artist, and this is one to be certainly taken a note of. I hope that he wins today because I think this is a very exciting horse. That's Run with Pride, Prominent Artist rather, number 11. And $50 more with Richard Lindley in front there, followed by Fred Winter's other runner. That's Sea Image. John Frankham has chosen to ride this one in preference to $50 more. Sea Image, a very useful horse who was on the floor when finishing behind Run with Pride at Ascot. And I know John Frankham has a very high opinion of this one, running in the Midnight Court colours of Mrs. Olive Jackson. They want a lot of luck in this. The Arkle chase, of course, for novices. Sea Image 7-1 from 6s, going out of point there. John Frankham, very cool, never ever ruffled. Cheltenham Festival or Grand National, comes to him alike, or a cellar at Plumpton, he's there to ride winners. Following him, number 22 is Water Rock. This one trained by John Thorne at Bridgewater, ridden by Richard Hoare. Water Rock has won 2 of his last 3. Before that, he unseated his rider, but generally a safe conveyance. He was the one in yellow colours behind Sea Image. There, the pink hat going out with Solimnos. We'll probably pick him up later. But Sea Image, a very useful hurdler, just going out, of course. There was Water Rock going through the picture. And there is Run with Pride. Run with Pride, owned by Paul Hamilford, a really sporting man. I've followed him across country in Northern Ireland with the East Down Hounds, and he's a very hard man to follow. I wonder if his horse will be equally hard to follow by his rivals here today. Run with Pride, a very useful horse. Had a slight training setback after his very good win at Ascot. He stays, he goes to this ground, and he jumps these bigger fences better than he actually does the softer ones in Ireland. At Leopardstown, he tried to demolish a couple of them, and they're much softer in Ireland than they are here at our major meetings. Ridden by Niall Madden, well, this would be a very popular winner indeed. I think the Prominent Artist might just have the edge over him, but don't underestimate this one. He is very good indeed. Ideal distance. Let's see how they bet now.
Well, Prominent Artist has the edge in the betting at least. It's 5-1 favourite. Run with Pride and Sea Image are the joint second favourite, 7-1. $50 more, Sailor's Return and Pay Related, 8-1. Spinning Saint 10s, Skellum and the Brockshee, 12-1. Classified and Golden Vow, both 14-1, 25-1 bar these.
And the second of David Nicholson's big challenge here at Cheltenham. This is 14, Sailor's Return, ridden by Peter Scudamore. Well, Sailor's Return has had 3 wins in a row following a second, first time out this season. He was somewhat fortunate to win at Ascot. Prominent Artist now hardening to 9-2 from 5-1. It's 15-2 bar. But the horse we're looking at there in the grey jacket, red sleeves, Sailor's Return, he certainly wouldn't have beaten $50 more at Ascot but for the fall. But he's a very tough horse. He stays forever, and he comes from David Nicholson's stable, who certainly can do no wrong at the moment. It's going to be an important week for both him and for Peter Scudamore, and this horse could certainly shake them up. I know that he may just lack that little bit of speed that some of his rivals have got, but in this ground, up this hill, well, courage is the one thing that you want, and that's what both horse and rider have got here. That's 14, Sailor's Return. Number 7 there, going down with his head held high and his ears pricked, $50 more, ridden by Richard Lindley, and it must have been fairly hard for John Frankham to choose between this one and Sea Image. $50 more, was second here last year over hurdles in hot, deep ground, as deep as it is today, or nearly as much so. Ground that Fred Winter didn't think he'd handle, but in fact he did. Well, he came out, was proved to be a very useful recruit to steeplechasing fences. But last time out, John gave this horse a very easy ride. He was trying to settle him down, keep him out of the action because he pulled so terribly hard, and in the end was only beaten 9 lengths by Wayward Lad, Earthstopper and Captain John. That was a good run, and it'll be interesting to see how they ride him today. I should think they'll try and settle him out the back, because in amongst this crowd, this cavalry charge, it would certainly set $50 more alight. He's running in the colours of Sheikh Ali Abu Kamsin, who has 3 runners here today. They're all fancied. Of course, the runner in the first not quite getting there. We have some betting for you, followed by some results.
Prominent Artist 9-2, Sea Image and Run with Pride 15-2. $50 more, Sailor's Return and Pay Related are 8-1. Spinning St. Tens, Skellum and the Brockshee 12-1. Classified and Golden Vow still on 14-1, and it's 25-1. Sedgefield, the 2 o'clock, first number 21, Mendelake, 15-2. Second number 26, Kersal, 14-1. Third number 5, Warren Gorse, the 9-4 favourite. The totes, £2.28 for a win, for places 47, 97 and 20 pence. The straight forecast, £12.66. The dual forecast, the winner with any other, 37 pence. And the result from Sedgefield, the 2:30, first number 3, Caravan Centre, 7-1. The second number 9, Lettock, 5-2 on favourite, and third number 8, Ice Sapphire, 20-1. Now we have another show from Cheltenham. Prominent Artist 9-2, Sea Image and Run with Pride 15-2. $50 more, and Sailor's Return 8-1. Pay Related is 10s now. Spinning Saint, the same price, 10-1. Skellum 12s. The Brockshee has gone out to 14-1 with Classified and Golden Vow. Cruise Missile 25-1. Same price for Pay Freeze 25-1. 33-1 bar.
There in the spots, the white spots and the red jacket, that's number 16. This is Skellum, a gelding by Ragusa in the colours of Lady Clegg, trained by Arthur Moore and ridden by Jerry Newman. Well, Skellum has only had 1 run so far this season and finished second. He certainly made Sean Ogue really fight for it, and that was good form. He likes to be fresh, so don't worry about him just having 1 run. He needs a left-handed track. He's got that today. He often front runs, this fellow, and he lacks the experience, though, of these obstacles. Prominent Artist 4-1 favourite from 9-2. Remember, he'd also come in from 5-1, 8-1 bar, so the money going on Prominent Artist. But the horse we're looking at now, Skellum, he's a horse that with just 1 run over fences, well, will he take the Cheltenham obstacles? But I think any horse with brains, when he sees these fences, picks his legs up. Skellum, one that I certainly wouldn't count out of it today. And they're standing still in the green jacket of the late John Thorne, and a man that we all love dearly, and, well, wouldn't it be marvellous to see his colours carried to victory here at Cheltenham. Cruise Missile, ridden by Bob Davis, who you saw with Julian earlier on. This one unseated Steve Smith-Eccles at Newbury, and on that occasion he made a right mistake, and Steve, going for the buckle end, carried on going and went out towards the side and back of this horse, Cruise Missile. He rides Classified today in the race for Nicky. Cruise Missile, an entire horse. He's going to take up stallion duties at Chesterton Stud when his racing days are over. Rather unusual to see a full horse jumping fences, but we wish him luck. And we have some more betting for you.
Prominent Artist 4-1 now. CMH and A Run with Pride with Sailor's Return 8-1. $50 more has gone out to 9-1. Pay Related and Spinning Saint 10s. Skellum is 12-1. Same price Golden Vow 12-1. Classified and the Broxy 14s on 25-1. Cruise Missile, whom we've just seen, and Pay Freeze. And it's 33-1 bar. Pay Freeze has just gone to 28-1. 28-1 Pay Freeze.
Norman Babbage may lack the experience of some of these top-class jockeys, but he's a trier, and I'm sure he'll be giving of his best, as will the horse. Always a competitive race, this. There in the pink, standing still in the middle, is Pay Related, number 10. This one, ridden by John Joe O'Neill. Well, St. Jonathan didn't really feature in the first race, but John Joe's got some nice rides throughout the 3 days. Pay Related, who ran a tremendous race here at Cheltenham when falling at the last. He was still in front of Brown Chamberlain, but in my opinion, Brown Chamberlain would have beaten this horse very easily anyway. John Joe, in fact, brought down in the first race, and his fans very pleased to see him here and smiling again. He's got there are a lot of O'Neills here today. He's got 2 of his brothers here to support him and his wife Sheila. They'll be rooting for him. Now here nearest to us in the light blue sleeves and the wine-coloured vest is number 4. This is Classified, Nicky Henderson's other runner, and Steve Smith-Eccles rides this one. Steve, who's 3rd in the jockeys table at the moment. Prominent Artist hardening yet again, 4-1. See Image 8, Run with Pride 8, Sailor's Return 8, and 9-1 Bar. But they're coming under orders, all getting excited. So over to Peter O'Sullivan.
Thank you, Richard. And Skellum very nearly took the gate on then. A turn to come in again. The 19 runners. Got 11 fences to jump, only 1 ditch, remember. It's number 8, the ditch, as they missed the fence in front of the stands. Started trying to get back behind the tape. Pay-Related a little bit behind the others. Says Classified. Prominent Artist being turned to come in. Skellum just, this is he nearest to us in the sheepskin noseband, just playing up a little bit. Bit restive, he's a trailblazer normally. Turned again. This looks a possibility, and they're away. And coming to the first, Golden Vow is one of the first to show with Spinning Saint, and Spinning Saint looks as though he's going to land over the first in the lead. Spinning Saint from Water Rock and Sailor's Return. They're all safely over that brave fellow, just climbed it a little bit in rear, but it's Spinning Saint from Water Rock and Skellum, and behind them Pay Freeze, and they're going a real good gallop in this testing ground here at Cheltenham. They've all jumped that one safely the second, and it's Spinning Saint from Water Rock and Skellum and Pay Freeze. Then Ballymiles and the Broxy and $50 more. Golden Vow over there on the inside. Just in behind them come Pay Related and Prominent Artist and Sailor's Return and Sea Image and Book of Kells and Cruise Missile, Brave Fellow and Solemnus, the back markers at the moment as they come down towards the 3rd. Last year's 2nd, Spinning Saint in the lead from Water Rock and Pay Freeze and Skellum and Golden Vow. Just in behind them $50 more in the Broxy and Prominent Artist and Cruise Missile. On the far side, Sailor's Return behind them, Pay Related and Book of Kells, and then Slaney behind. Slaney is Classified, and then Brave Fellow, then Run with Pride, and behind Run with Pride is Sea Image on the inside, and finally Solemnus, and that's the order as they race past this ditch now. Quite a long run towards the next fence. Spinning Saint in the lead as they swing left-handed and begin to run down towards the 4th fence. Spinning Saint from Water Rock and Pay Freeze in 3rd. Then comes Skellum and Golden Vow, and $50 more on the outside of the Broxy. Prominent Artist will there on the inner, and then Pay Related. Then comes Ballymiles. Behind Ballymiles is Sailor's Return, and then on the outer is Cruise Missile with Slaney and Book of Kells. And over the next it's Spinning Saint, who lands in the lead from Water Rock, and they're all safely over that one. Sea Image is in rear at the moment, and it's Spinning Saint in the lead with the Broxy. Tommy Carberry going up into 2nd now as they come to the water. Spinning Saint from the Broxy, Prominent Artist on the inside, Pay Freeze on the far side. Just in behind them come Golden Vow, then Pay Related, and then Skellum, and then $50 more. Then Sailor's Return on the inside as they come down towards the 6th. And the Broxy landed in the lead there from Spinning Saint, then Pay Freeze, then Prominent Artist, a very close fourth. Skellum on the outside. Behind him is Pay Related. Behind Pay Related is Golden Vow. And then making ground over on the far side is Cruise Missile. So now they're leveling up for the only ditch in the race. 4 from home, and it's the Brock She in the lead from Spinning Saint. In third, very close now to them, is Prominent Artist. Then comes Skellum on the outside of Pay Freeze, then Pay Related, and there was a fall there, and Run With Pride was brought down in rear. No, Run With Pride wasn't brought down. He's recovered all right. He's recovered, and as they race towards the top of the hill, it's still the Brock She in the lead. Skellum was the faller at that ditch. The Brock She from Prominent Artist, then Spinning Saint, then $50 more, and then Pay Related. Then just in behind them come Classified. Running down now towards the third last fence, the Brock She, Spinning Saint, Prominent Artist, Pay Related, $50 more, Sea Image, Classified, Brave Fellow, and Run With Pride, and the Brock She landed in the lead there. The Brock She, and Solimnos is a faller at that one, and it's the Brock She being challenged now by Pay Related, Classified, $50 more. Just in behind them comes Golden Vow, Brave Fellow, and Sea Image. The Brock She landed in the lead there. The Brock She at that one from Prominent Artist, Classified, and Pay Related. Then Brave Fellow just in behind them with Golden Vow, and then Spinning Saint. Racing now towards the final fence, and it's the Brock She being pressed by Prominent Artist, with on the near side Classified, then Brave Fellow. And it's Classified coming to challenge the Brock She now, then Brave Fellow, and then Prominent Artist over the last. The Brock She lands in the lead from Classified, then Brave Fellow and Prominent Artist racing into the closing stages, and it's veteran Tommy Carberry in the lead on the Brock She being challenged by Classified. The Brock She from Classified as they race up towards the line. The Brock She holding Classified, and up the line the Brock She wins it from Classified second and Brave Fellow third. That's the 1, 2, 3, and 4 was Pay Related, and then Golden Vow behind them, Prominent Artist, and $50 more. Then Sea Image and Sailor's Return are behind them, Spinning Saint, and then Booker Kells, and last to finish was Slaney. And so the result of the Arkle Challenge Trophy: first, number 20, the Brock She, owned by Mr. T.J. Murray, trained by Arthur Moore in Ireland and ridden by Tommy Carberry. Second was number 4, Classified, owned by Mr. G.A. Rogers, trained by Nicky Henderson, ridden by Steve Smith-Eccles. And third, number 3, Brave Fellow, owned by T. Kilroe and Sons Limited, trained by Jimmy Fitzgerald and ridden by Tony Charlton. Fourth was number 10, Pay Related. Second time in the last 3 years that Tommy Carberry, 40-year-old Tommy Carberry, has won the Arkle Trophy. Number 8 for the Irish in this, the 14th running. Here's how the Brock She won it as we review it with Richard Pittman.
And as they turned for home, the Brock She had gone to the front, but there were several horses breathing down his neck. Just weakening there in second place in the yellow colours is Prominent Artist. He'd beaten the Brock She last time out, but the danger now looks to be Classified, ridden by Steve Smith-Eccles. Steve, a real worker on his horses, but Brock She jumping the last again to keep him back in the race. He jumped superbly throughout. Brave Fellow coming up on the wide outside in the yellow as Prominent Artist goes back. Pay Related in 5th place, but Tommy Carberry, well, he knows this Cheltenham Hill very well. Working very hard on the Brock She, a fine-looking animal, this one. He's by Gold Hill, the sire of Comedy of Errors. He's holding Classified all the way up the hill, and it was nice to see Steve Smith-Eccles congratulating Tommy as they passed. It's good for a jockey to get a winner early in the meeting, and Tommy, who'll be going for the Gold Cup on Royal Bond, will be feeling a happy man tonight. As the line came, this horse was going away, and staying was one thing I didn't think he'd do in the heavy ground, but he's done it well.
Scathed as a result of their falls at the ditch. Likewise Jerry Newman and Sean Tracy, and Solimnos, he was quick up on his feet too after his fall, 3 from home, and Hewell Davis. Sailor's Return and Peter Scudamore. Peter will be associated, of course, in the champion with Broadsword. He's coming in ahead of Tommy Carberry on this 7-year-old by Gold Hill. It's been a pretty successful sire of jumpers. And the 12-to-1 winner, the Brock She, bred at the Limestone Stud. Talking of breeding, I should perhaps have mentioned that Miller Hill was the winner of the opener, was bred in Ireland by RTA Morrow. The distance is here 2 lengths and 3/4 of a length. So a second success for the Irish in the second race of the afternoon, though once again not one of the most expected representatives of the visitors. The full starting prices as follows.
First, number 20, the Brock She, 12 to 1. Second, number 4, Classified, also 12 to 1. Third, number 3, Brave Fellow, 50 to 1. First, the Brock She, 12 to 1. Second, Classified, again 12 to 1. And third, Brave Fellow, 15 to 1. Jackpot number there, 220.
The first